Hey everyone, and welcome to the NintendoFuse Podcast. This is episode 289, and on this episode, we're going to be talking all about the 3DS and Wii U shutdown, a couple other showcases that have happened recently, and some other news that's things that are upcoming really soon. This has been being recorded live on April 9th, 2024. My name is Steve, and I'm also joined by Barry. Barry, how's it going?
Hey, Steve. Going great.
Yeah,
Happy
you
to be
survived their
here.
earthquake and other stuff that
Yeah,
happened out
yeah.
there.
We
Yeah.
we had an earthquake. It was the weirdest thing. I was sitting in the living room, and my son next to me, and the dog is just sleeping, and everything was fine. And all of a sudden, I just started feeling like a rumble, and I was looking ahead, and I have like a sliding glass, like a sliding mirror door for our closet. And I'm watching because it's not connected on the top or bottom. It's like on those like on wheels, and I'm watching the whole thing start shaking. I'm like, is there a big truck coming down our street? Like that has happened. I was like, or is it like military aircraft? And then I looked at my dining room, and we have a big wall of like family photos on the wall, and like I'm watching them all just shake, and I'm like, oh my god, I think this is an earthquake. What the heck? Like out of nowhere, my son's just like oblivious. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
thank God. And then it stopped. And if it had kept going, I was gonna grab him and get to like a doorway or something, but it was 10 seconds,
Hmm.
and like all this happened within 10 seconds. I was like, oh my god. And then later that day, I was actually down here in this very seat, and and where I'm sitting is in the basement. It's actually below ground, and you wouldn't think of anything, but suddenly at like 6 o'clock, it just started. Again, I felt it, and I looked, and my wife has a bunch of like pops, pops kind of the bobblehead, and they're all like bobbling. I'm like, what the heck is going? Was that an aftershock? Like this is so weird. We're not
Wow.
used to this in Jersey.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially, I didn't realize aftershocks could happen like hours later. Like
Oh yeah,
that's crazy.
anytime, and sometimes they're worse than the actual quake.
Wow. Wow. And were you how close were you to the path of totality for the eclipse too?
Um, we were not like in it, but we weren't like terribly, terribly far. I think it was
Okay.
like half or a little bit more than half, three-fourths.
Okay.
I did not go out during it. I mean, I tried to take my phone and like click, but we did have some clouds. But I know a lot of people here were out in this just looking up. And
Yeah. 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 Jesse's saying none of your game shelves fell. That's what I was
yeah,
concerned about. All your stuff there, like shaking and
you
falling
you
over.
know you know the funny thing is when it happened, I didn't even come down here because I was just like whatever. Like I don't even want to think about what
Yeah.
downstairs looks like. And of course, when my wife got home and watched the baby, I'm like, I'm gonna go down and just check, and nothing
Yeah.
fell over,
Yeah.
like at all. It was like, oh, nothing. I was even shocked. I was like,
Yeah.
not a single thing tipped over. It was just some rattles, and I'm glad for that because it could have
Good.
been disastrous.
Good, good. Also joined by Greg. Greg, anything exciting like earthquakes, and you were out of the path of totality like I was as well, where you are. So I don't know anything else exciting happening up there in the Chicago area.
Yeah, not really anything major to note. As you just said, I wasn't really in the path of totality, and I tried to do with kind of what Barry did, and just held my phone out and tried to take like blind pictures, and it didn't really amount to anything. I just looked at a normal picture of the sun. So like I thought I was supposed to get like some sort of like percentage of it, but I don't know if unless I just missed the exact moment of it or whatever. But
Yeah.
pretty much all my pictures just showed like a normal picture of the sun. At least to me, it looked like it. But
Did it get
yeah,
darker for you guys, like outside?
No.
I felt it got slightly darker, but it was a very clear day, so it was not like
Yeah.
clouds or anything, at least by me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it got didn't get like night dark, but it got like sunset dark. And
Hmm.
I was like, oh, this is weird. I have to turn on the lights. And then like, 5, 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, okay, turn the lights
Wow.
off again. It's back.
Wow.
Someone turned the sun back on.
Yeah, I felt like it's kind of like if a cloud goes. It was like if a cloud goes in front of the sun. That was
Yeah.
kind of how it felt a little bit, and yeah, it wasn't much of a difference here. I think we were supposed to be at like 65% here in Colorado, but yeah, it didn't really feel much
The
different at
next
all.
one in 20 years is gonna get you like perfectly.
Straight across color, as slightly lower than I am, but I mean it before. Like if I was going to go to this one, I think the nearest location would have been somewhere around Dallas, and that's quite a far distance from us. This next time, I can travel an hour and a half and be in totality, so that'd be exciting if I'm still here in 20 years.
Let's hope so. Let's plan positively.
Well, I don't mean here on Earth. I mean,
Oh,
I mean
I
here
thought
in
you meant here on
Colorado.
Earth.
Yes, I hope I'm here on Earth as well in 20 years.
Yeah, all the people that were saying the rapture was happening, and just because of
Oh,
normal
yeah.
eclipse, has happened numerous times before.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope I'm still alive in 20 years, but I guess we'll see. You never know. But on that morbid note, thanks.
Tune in 20 years for our next
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, episode 1300. So anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you have never tuned in live, we love you guys joining us live. We go live every Tuesday, or sorry, every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time and 5 p.m. Pacific time. Jump in the live chat. We've got the live chat going right now. Already refer to Jesse, who's chatting with us in there, and feel free, if you're in the live chat, to let us know what you've been playing, all your thoughts on the news that we talk about. We love interacting with you guys on there. Also, want to encourage you to join us over on social media. We're at NintendoFuse on Twitter and Instagram and everything else. And if you've not joined our Discord, we have a growing community over there on Discord and would love for you to join. The link is on the screen, but also in our show notes and the YouTube description as well. And yeah, love chatting with you guys in between episodes and about the big stuff that's going on, games you've been playing, all those different things over on our Discord. It's a great place to just kind of hang out and have some fun. So let's move into what we have been playing. And we'll go to you first, Greg.
Well, just a really quick note. I don't know if you guys saw it in the Memes and Fun channel. I posted an awesome Eclipse video that I found on TikTok earlier today. And it was basically two people, or one person having a copy of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and it just left the Pokemon copy of Sun just stationary. And then here's your Eclipse if you missed it, and just slowly moved the Pokemon Moon cartridge across past the Pokemon Sun one. It's really hysterical. Nice. If anyone wants a really good laugh there, I thought that was hysterical. But yeah, on to what I was playing. It's pretty much just some of the game chat stuff you'll find on NintendoFuse in the near future. So it was pretty much Gordian Quest and also High Water. Those were the main takeaways on Switch, and I didn't really play a ton of Switch over the last 2 weeks, unfortunately, outside trying to catch up on those. I did continue on with Roblox with my daughter, as like that hunt event had already fully wrapped up, and some Easter events and stuff were popping up afterwards for other games. So I continued on playing Adopt Me with her further, which is essentially just like the Tamagotchi pet thing on steroids, where you just take care of pets and trade and gotcha sequence stuff. So they had an Easter event that was going on where you collect a bunch of Easter eggs and get some Easter themed pets, along with right now they have like a circus event going on, so then you get some cool monkeys with different outfits and stuff too there. So we're just expanding out my collection and trying to complete as much of it as I can within the shortened time frame. And then also played a game 3008 again with her, where initially over a week ago they had like a nuke mode activated, so it would routinely drop a bomb and destroy your base, and made it a lot easier to get caught by the employees at nighttime with that kind of shenanigans going on. But I think that was just like a temporary update or event, because it's already gone now. And then pretty much was also playing a game called The Murder Mystery 2. It's essentially just like a standard like Doom type game where you just go around killing other players, and or at least there's one player that goes around trying to kill all the other players, and then there is one person designated as a sheriff, and then they get a gun to actually take down the murderer if they can find them. And then if they kill somebody that like it wasn't innocent, then both characters just die, and then like somebody else is able to pick up the gun, and if the sheriff is at all killed at any point, and then they become like a hero to try to take down the murderer before the time limit expires. So that's a little fun game they have going on there, with a Easter update with some Easter themed weapon guns and knives. That was fun, helping my daughter collect and just playing random rounds and collecting Easter eggs and stuff, even though Easter's already well over. But yeah, and then just still playing Simpsons Tapped Out on mobile devices, and they had like a clown update going on there, and it was just still fun to be hearing all the basic Simpsons quotes and assigning 400 some odd characters to jobs every couple hours.
Wow.
Sounds
Wow.
nightmare fuel.
Yeah,
But
I stopped it years ago.
yeah, but they do have a job manager thing, so it will assign all of them to like a 1 hour task or to a 12-hour task, whatever you want. So you don't have to click on all 400 and some characters individually to tell them what to do.
That makes
You
it
can,
easier, but oh
you can
god.
say like it says send them all on like an 8-hour job, and then it was like boom, like in 8 hours, and you log back in and you just can clear them out pretty fast.
Send them each individually on 1 hour jobs, and the game never ends because by the time you get to the 400th, the first one's already back because it's been over an hour. So it just
It's-
cycle.
and then you just set it up, and basically the game plays itself at that
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
I'm
A lot
like,
of mobile games do that.
fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of mindless for me. I just put in like whatever 8 or 12 hours at a time. I'm not like trying to do the 1 or 4 hours even because it's
Hmm.
so much of a hassle just to even clear that many as well too.
Right.
They do have like a little radius thing, so every time like you tap one, it like will make like a little like radius and clear anything else that's like in the neighboring area. So like you don't have to individually clear all of them, especially if they're all clumped in one building or like one section of your town or whatever. So it's thankfully not as slow like clearing it, but there are things that they've improved upon to make it more player friendly.
Gotcha. Looking at the chat, Jesse Glenn says, I was up till 6:30 a.m. completing Leighton versus Phoenix Wright. Finished with like 43 hours to get that extra DLC. Not sure if those servers remain, but I sure hope the Dragon Quest 7
7.
remain. I was trying to convert Roman numerals to whatever ours are real quick. And he needs the tablets, it says. Let's see. Anybody else says anything else? I don't think so. Yeah, Barry, what have you been playing?
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of smaller stuff right now on my Switch. Still doing Pokemon Unite. I went back to Pokemon Scarlet. There was a raid this past weekend, so I did that. Tetris 99 had the maximum cup for Princess Peach Showtime, so I went back to that game to get that. Stacklands, which is a game that we will be having a game chat on, so I'll talk more there. A game called Rise Race to the Future. It's a arcade racing game with rally style controls, and it's kind of interesting because like halfway through a lot of the races your car just turns into a boat, and it's like, whoa, this is cool. This is a little DKC, Diddy Kong Racing or whatever. It's interesting. Beautiful game, especially on the Switch. A game called Kudzu, which is a Game Boy game ported to the Switch. It's a Zelda-like game, and we'll be talking about it in a game chat. Previously, I went and did Super Kiwi 64, but I missed the fact that there was actually a download expansion, which we'll talk a little bit more about later, called Doomsday, which adds 2 new levels and a boss fight. And it didn't take me long. It took me about 30 minutes to do, but it was a lot of fun. If you've never played, it's a love letter to the N64 collectathons. It's way more fun than it should be. Like it's just really well done. Same developer also did a game called Corn Kids 64, which is a much larger 3D platformer collectathon, and a lot of fun. Playing that. A game called Night Try, which is a 3D platformer, Demon Souls, pretty much. It's almost like you will die the game. It's a lot of fun, though challenging, and you have to get into the mindset like you can't get angry when a blade just comes out of nowhere and kills you. Like, okay, I should have expected that. A game called Amazing George 2, which is a cat RPG. It is literally you play as a cat trying to turn all the other cats back from being turned into dogs. It's really interesting. It's got a pretty cool battle system. It's in 3D, but it's like almost like a PS1 style JRPG. And then PS5. Speaking of JRPGs, Dragon's Dogma 2, which I started and was playing last time. I have now put the game down, but I did not beat this game. This game, I wanted to like this game so much because I loved the first game. I loved the anime. But man, Capcom, they they did not make this fun for me. if you I'm used to fast travel as a nice convenient way now. It's just really quality of life. You can fast travel in this game. You just have to pay them real money to do so. It's like no, no, I don't think so, Capcom.
That's
Uh,
bad.
the and then the more you're out adventuring, your maximum health goes down. So if you've been out for a while, you have like zero maximum health, and you'll just die. So the only way to recoup it is to rest at a campfire or rest at an inn. And to rest at a campfire, you need a camping supplies. Camping supplies are heavy, and this game has a weight system. So the more things you're equipped with, or more things you have on you, the slower you go, the more damage you take. And with less health, that becomes a big problem. So you have to like load up all your pawns with all this heavy stuff. It's cumbersome.
Sounds like a very realistic game.
Oh yeah, very realistic. Well,
pay
the first
pay
game
to
did that.
travel places. You're heavier if you carry things. You have to
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah, and then the real kicker is the save system. So most games have multiple save files. Obviously like the NES. You had one save file per thing, but this game has two save files. You get one that's an in save. So anytime you go to an inn and you pay money to rest at the inn, it will create an in save for you, which is great. The other one, you could just press start and save and continue anywhere. What's the problem? The problem is that this game, like many others, features an autosave. And the autosave is the same slot as the slot of just pushing start and save and continue. So it autosaves often, and it will autosave when there's like a big enemy about to be there. So like it can autosave with a griffin about to land on you. And when you die and you reload, that griffin's about to land on you again, and you're SOL unless you can run out of there or beat the Griffin, or you reload your last in save, which was when you were back in town, and who knows how long ago that was. It it's 2024. It should autosave should be its own slot. It's
Yeah.
so silly. Capcom screwed the pooch on this. Maybe if they do some fixes, I'll come back. But I had fun. It just didn't compel me to finish the game. So I got to like level 20 or so, and I was like, I'm done. So then I played a little of the Saga Emerald Beyond demo, the new Saga game. Never really played the Saga games before outside of Final Fantasy Legends on the Game Boy. I don't know what I think about it. I think the combat is really cool. The story is nonsensical, and I was kind of angry because like they're like, "Oh, you need to go to this location, but there's all these other locations." So I picked another one of those locations because as RPGs, I usually like to, you know, go off the beaten path, do everything before going back to what I need to do. But by doing something, it's like, "All right, we're going to continue the story." I'm like, "Wait a second. There were actually cutscenes that I missed. I can't go back to them. It just moves me ahead." So I'm like, "Okay, um yeah. I know there's a lot of Saga fans. This demo did not sell me on it.
Hmm.
Try it for yourself. It's on Switch as well, but I
Is
did the
this
PS5 version.
a demo that's like the first part of the game, or is it like a separate thing?
No, no, this is the first part. You can only pick
Okay.
one of the characters, so it does transfer over. So it's my favorite kind of demo. I hadn't played a Saga in a long time. I'm like, it's the newest one. I'll give it a shot. And I mean, I'll buy it for the collection, but it did not convince me to say, "Oh, I
Hmm.
need to play this,"
That's too
which
bad.
is disappointing. I was hoping it would.
Hmm.
Like I said, the battle system is really unique. I like the battle system in this game. It's just everything else, and it feels cheap too. Like it's literally just like static images virtually of characters talking to each other, voice
Hmm.
acted most of the time. But I'm like, and like they have like two or three characters models for like general civilian, so like everyone looks the same, and I'm like, this is Square Enix. What the hell?
Yeah.
But then I moved on to the game I'm currently playing, which is Rise of the Ronin. This game is it's an open world samurai game. Reminds me a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. It's by Tecmo Team Ninja, published by Sony, but it's really really good. The story is kind of weird. They have this really interesting concept of like you can be on two factions. You could either be pro the shogun, or you could be and pro Americans and like Europeans coming over and doing trade, which is because it's set in like the 1800s, or anti and purist Japanese. And I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, let me see what changes. And then, like, out of nowhere, it's like 2 missions. It's like, oh yeah, Shogun's bad. We're now you're instantly like anti-Shogun. I'm like, why'd you even give me the choice to begin with? What the heck? And, and then they have like a system where you can like kind of get rapport with different people and romance and all that stuff, like standard RPGs now. And so I was like, oh, well, the first girl I comes across. I'm like, sure, why not? She's in a lot of missions. I'm like, sure, favor, whatever, romance. Oh, I got a trophy, first romance. I'm like, first romance. I mean, why? And then the next thing I know, she dies. I'm like, what the hell, game? What a bait and switch! You just it's like, that's mean.
Sending you on an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, I'm like, what the heck? He was a cool character. I was like, ah. Damn it. So I just found it funny because the trophy was your first romance. I'm like, first, what do they expect me to be, a whore in this game? But now I understand why. People will die.
They're all dying off.
They're all dying.
Be careful.
But it is a fun game. It is fun. I know there's some graphical glitches and stuff, but I'm really having a good time with it. So if you like open world games, if you like, samurai and kind of like old school Japan, I definitely recommend it. And then on the PC, still playing Final Fantasy 14. There's a Final Fantasy 16 event that just started, and on mobile, still doing Mario Kart Tour.
Nice. Yeah, let us know again if you haven't yet in our chat, and we'd love to hear what you're playing after the fact as well. If you're watching this later, let us know down in the comments here on YouTube or over on social or Discord as well. I played some games this week, but I also my wife got me a surprise for Easter. I got an Easter basket this year, which I kind of hinted at the other day. I was like, oh yeah, I miss getting an Easter basket when I was little. And so she got me an Easter basket this year, and I had the Lego piranha plant in there. So I built it like the next day. It's a smaller build. I think it only took me about 2.5 hours or so, maybe 3, because I was kind of talking to her while I was doing it. So
it looks good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I just put it together. I didn't design it. But I just followed the instructions. The weirdest thing is that I don't know why, because this doesn't make sense, but it has coins, like these like little Lego coins, and you're supposed to put it in the pot, and then the back has this button that you push, and a little trap door pops out the bottom, which is a cool mechanism, and then you can get the coins back out. I don't know why.
Maybe it's because there's some pipes in Mario that have piranha plants, but you could also go down them and there's coins underneath them.
Maybe because I kept thinking, I'm like, I've never seen coins like in the pipe, the actual pipe of a piranha plant. So, but maybe that makes sense if you're
also,
going.
When you kill a piranha plant, some games will give you a coin if you like kill them with a fireball or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
I was about to say, if you kill it with a fire flower, it does that. But also in Mario Maker, you can assign the coin to the pipe, and then it'll just like make it rain coins too.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. I mean, you don't have to do it. It's just one of those things. I was like, why do I have coins? And why does this thing keep popping open all the time? Apparently that was why. So other than that, I played Stacklands, which Barry alluded earlier to. We're going to do a game chat on that. Quickly, I'll say that it was a game that I went from ready to put down, and then I couldn't put it down. So that's a little teaser for our game chat. And also played, I got a free trial thing of Xbox Game Pass. I think I talked about this on the last episode as well. And so I grabbed a couple games and things like that. And that was fun last time, but it prompted me to then, they started giving me better suggestions on Xbox recently. And so, recommended a game that's free to play called Eclipse, I think is what it's called. It's like the little black blobs that you control, and it's a platformer, and then you pull them all together into big blob, and then you can split them back out, and they're separate blobs, and you're It's basically a 2D platformer, which I think is interesting. I've never done a 2D platformer that was free to play, but the reason you would ever pay money for it is to, I guess, get crystals or whatever in order to spawn back so you don't have to restart the game all over again and things like that. So it was an interesting concept. I played it for like maybe half an hour and I put it down. I'm probably not going to go back to it, but it was an interesting concept. Booted up Steep again, which is the snowboarding skiing game from Ubisoft. It's several years old now, but I was like, you know what? I've not played this in a while, and booted that up, and it's still as pretty as ever. Played some Trackmania as well on Xbox. It's been a long time since I played Trackmania, and the game has definitely changed since the last time I played, but the controls are just as slippery as ever. So, I had a little bit of fun, but not a ton. Played some NBA 2K24. Went over to a friend's house for Easter, and he had it on their PS5, and so I was like, oh, I just played it on my Xbox the other day, and so and he destroyed me because he knows how to shoot 3-pointers, and none of mine were falling, and so I got destroyed on that. Played some Jackbox games with some friends recently. Got the new Pac-10. That was fun. Played some Rocket League, some Clash Royale, some Pokemon Go, and then I played this other game called Final Fantasy 14. I don't know about that.
Did you actually play it?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Finally, after I didn't have to start a new account either. So once the demo went away, I could just, when it actually fully launched, I just signed into my regular account that I hadn't been able to use in years and years and years, and all of a sudden it started working. And so I've been poking around in the initial place where you go around it. I will say in the very beginning, it is overwhelming as you like set up your character and all this other stuff. And it is definitely a PC game that has been ported to console.
Actually, that's incorrect.
Well, then they should have done a better job. Well, okay. Well, it looks still like a PC game, like it's made for PC is what it looks like, because it is. You have a cursor that you move around and all these different things that, yeah.
Really? Like
in the main menu. Like when you get in the game, it's button controls. But before you get into the game, when you sign in, it's all cursor control thing. It looks like all of a sudden like a PC game comes up and you've got all that stuff. And like you should have kind of made this like ported properly, but the game itself, there's so much, like so many controls, and trying to figure out. I became an archer, and then trying to figure out how to actually do combat. And they do walk you through it, but but you have to go on these different quests in order to learn the different things. And if you haven't gone on that quest, you're like, I still don't know how to shoot anything. But this guy, I'm supposed to go talk to him with a bow and arrow, with a bow. I have a bow, but I go and talk to him, and he just ... every time. So I don't know what to do about him. But anyway, I'm figuring it out and plugging away, and I finally thought I got the hang of it. The thing that's most annoying is anytime you get a new notification of like you unlock something or whatever, and it sticks the little it wants you to like go through a little training screen to kind of show you how to do that thing. It stays up right in the middle of your screen, this little icon that does not go away unless you hit the button to then go into it and then take it off, which I didn't realize that in the beginning. I thought, because I think the first time it popped up was when I went to the Ether, I think is what it's called, to like do the fast traveling and stuff. And it came up with a little number. Well, that's a notification number, not a number of how many times you can use that. And so I thought, use it infinite. Well, in the beginning, it came up, this little notification had a little number. I'm like, well, I don't want to waste it now, so I'm just going to not use it. And it stayed there and stayed there and stayed there. And finally, I realized, oh, that's a notification number. I have now 3 notifications waiting for me, and I need to go through all of them in order to remove that icon right off the center of my screen.
You can go to the HUD layout and move notifications to whatever spot you want. Oh, really?
Okay.
You can move. You can change your whole HUD. Okay. The whole thing is.
I'm gonna have to play around with that. But I went ahead, and after I had the free trial of the Ultimate Life Pass, Game Pass Ultimate. I'll be back to the core one in order to play some Final Fantasy. So we'll see if I stick around with it for.
Did you figure out attacking where it actually auto attacks for you and you just push the button for the
Yeah, I
skills?
haven't needed to yet because I've just been attacking like the animals in the wild, and I'm like, it's kind of fun to do it manually right now.
Oh, no,
I haven't.
no. What I mean is auto attack is like like if you just click on an enemy, you will just fire your bow like every few seconds automatically, take like minuscule damage. You're supposed to use your skills. It'll never auto for you. You have to use your skills.
Right. Yeah, but I could choose to like manually draw my bow every time, or I can hit the auto attack. Yeah,
Yeah.
and for now, I've like it's kind of nice. It's kind of fun more to
Yeah.
actually do it manually.
Oh, and as you get more skills, it
Yeah.
gets more fun. You
Well,
start
yeah,
weaving the
because you
skills.
like you have to hold that like you have like pages of
Uh-huh.
different alternative buttons and like cycling through them with the shoulder buttons and then pressing down the trigger buttons to actually pop up the additional. I'm like, okay,
It
like
works so well though.
it does, but like learning it was a little bit of learning curve, and then realizing that there are pages and pages that could be filled. Oh my gosh, I just have 1.5 pages right now. I don't know what that's going to look like eventually.
You start picking and choosing, and a lot of skills will upgrade.
Mm.
Like as you hit a certain level, like instead of it being a brand new skill, it like takes over an older skill. So
Yeah.
your button will automatically upgrade for you. And then if you go
Okay.
into like a dungeon and your level sink down, it will revert back for you automatically.
Okay. Cool.
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying.
So
So you're studying
yeah.
Gridania.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm just like basically running around and grabbing things and taking other people and making money right now because I don't know what else to do. But I'm
I'm sure you're seeing a
familiarizing
ton of
myself
people
with.
running around and stuff too. It's a very lively game.
Yeah, there's so many people there, and it took me for a while to realize like, okay, who are the real people and who are the NPCs and who are the people I'm supposed to talk to and what do these different icons mean and all that stuff. And like, but you
And
know,
then you
and
realize like, oh my God, there's a lot of real people.
yeah. Well, when I
Just wait
first
to get the
logged,
Limsa.
first time I logged on, it was super late at night, and I was like about to fall asleep. And I was like, I can't comprehend this right now. And then a couple of days ago, I logged back in, and I was the server was full, and so
Yeah.
I had to wait to get on. It didn't take very long at all, but I was like,
Yep.
oh wow, that's crazy that server's full. I can't even get on right now.
Just wait till you run around town and suddenly like there's an impromptu band where people are performing like music, like actual music, and other people are dancing and stuff. And it's just a community. It's just a fun thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14 at least for now. So. I left that off our
I
rundown because I
noticed.
wanted to surprise you with that.
That was a surprise. That took me. I was like, wait, what?
I think probably the only other thing that would surprise you is like, oh yeah, and I also beat
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade 3.
Yes. Beat. I mean, that would definitely surprise me, but at least
Yeah.
played. Booted it up.
It's kept it a secret the whole time. I just turn off my the games that I played again from
You already
to be able
do.
to see. No, they're back on now.
Oh, they're back on.
Yeah. Yeah. After you hounded me enough, I finally turned them back on.
It's handy to know what game chats we could do. It's like, oh yeah, he's played that.
That's
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I turned mine on for just like the friend feature because
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into some headlines. We got 4 different quick stories we want to let you guys know about what's coming up over the next couple weeks and months. And Barry's going to kick us off.
Yeah, so we've talked about how E3 is dead and how Jeff Keighley's doing the Summer Game Fest. Well, June is still a month that we all expect video game announcements, and Ubisoft is coming forward with their announcement of Ubisoft Forward on June 10th. So stay tuned this summer. We'll see what Ubisoft has. Will we get another Mario and Rabbids? Who knows? But they're doing a live show, which is cool. So it's not an actual digital thing.
So continuing on with more showcases, but this time it's actually going to be tomorrow, April 10th. The AAA initiative is looking for some creator calls to be officially co-streaming the showcase, and there's 45 minutes of bangers and reveals coming out tomorrow, April 10th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, or I don't know what the CEST,
Central European.
Central European time. So yeah, if you're interested to see some more top tier AAA games, then tune in tomorrow.
And if you are traveling through the JetBlue Terminal 5 at John F. Kennedy Airport, you can be able to check out some Nintendo games and maybe even a character. Nintendo has set up a Switch on the Go pop-up located again at Terminal 5 at JFK Airport in the JetBlue terminal there. So, Barry, going to hop over there and check out Nintendo.
No, I don't need to. I I have my house. But it's a little sad news here. There is the game Caravan Stories is shutting down on June 13th. Just the Switch version, though, it is available on other platforms. This game never did make it to North America, so this is a Japanese exclusive. We never got it for whatever reason. We did get the PS4 version, and that's still available, so you can still check it out there. If you were playing the Japanese version, you can still, continue with the events going on, but you can't purchase any more premium gold or gems.
All right. Greg, what stands out? Anything from these headlines?
I thought it was pretty cool with the JetBlue thing, because I know like Nintendo's done like other events like that in the past with like Southwest and just handing out like, I think they even had done like some Switches or Switch games or something at some point. So that's always cool to see that they kind of do that kind of stuff still. Yeah, and it's still pretty cool to see some more upcoming shows and whatever. That always gives us great topics for podcasts. So that's always great to see more presentations. And once again, it usually really stinks when games have to shut down services. So that's always part of the nature of the digital beast, I guess, unfortunately. But that kind of relates to our Wii U and 3DS discussion, though, too.
Yep. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm always good for these presentations. I love seeing how they each put them on. I think it's interesting. So Ubisoft has usually has pacing issues for me. If they start with like 20 minutes of Ghost Recon or something, it'll be like you lost me already. So hopefully they do it well, and hopefully we see something cool. I love the idea of the Triple I initiative. We always say Triple A game and Triple I game with indie games. I think that's really cool, and I actually know one of the people putting that on. He's a great guy, so I'm wishing the best of success. And I've seen a lot of, a lot of prominent indie studios tweeting out about it, so they're going to be participating. So I'm really interested to see what he's got, has in store for us. And it's always nice to give indies a voice and let them get some extra exposure. And if this goes well, I'm sure this is going to be a yearly thing or a bi-yearly thing or whatever. So like Greg said, it's great to be able to talk about it. And there's so many games out right now that we need more outlets, because so many sadly fall to the bottom of the eShop and never get played. As for the JetBlue thing, I think that's cool. I think Nintendo's getting out there. I think it's kind of weird that they're doing it now, because people know the Switch at this point. I feel like that's something you do in the first year or two of a console's life, not 7 years in. Hey, have you heard of the Switch? Maybe you haven't. I don't know. It's only sold 139 plus million. But you know what? I guess they're trying to lean into the whole portable nature. Like, oh, you're gonna fly. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a Switch on your plane? In which case they probably go, oh yeah, open up bag. Here's my Switch right here. But we'll see. Maybe they'll do it more often. And as for Caravan Stories, never even heard of it, but it sucks. And that's where I hate games like that, where it's lost forever. And I mean, the Switch version will be, and that doesn't always bode well. If the Switch version's going out, I'm sure the PS4 one will probably follow, and the mobile. And I hate seeing games lost where you can no longer play. I'm looking at you, Dragalia, same thing. Can never play it again. Dr. Mario World, it sucks. It sucks so much. Lost media sucks. Like, preservation is important.
Yep. Yeah. I'm pretty much there with you guys as well. Kind of, we'll see how Ubisoft does. Excited to see Triple I. Yeah, probably won't be going through the JetBlue terminal before April 20th, but Yeah, it's fun. It's also so random. It was just like we got the press release just a couple days ago. I'm like, what? Okay, cool. Didn't even because they basically said, hey, this has been going on, and here's some photos from it. So it wasn't even an announcement that it's coming soon. It was an announcement that it's already happening and it's going to be there till April 20th. So just so random, but fun. Or just random, and yeah, agree with you about caravan stories. Let's hop into some of our main discussion. And on this episode, we talked about the big Eclipse earlier, but also a couple Nintendo systems are getting eclipsed, at least their online systems. So the discontinuation of online services for 3DS and Wii U software has officially hit us. Happened at on 5 p.m. Pacific time on April 8th, which was just yesterday. All the online play and other functionality that uses online communication was cut from the 3DS and the Wii U software. There's also several different question and answers that are there's listed over on Nintendo's support page. They posted this a while back. Questions like, can I still play offline even though the online services end? Yes. If there's offline elements, those you can still play the game as normal. The online services that have it will be still possible to use online services for only the following software like Pokemon Bank and Poke Transfer. Those are still available for now, but they may end at some point in the future, they say. They're also with some exceptions, online services have ended for all 3DS and Wii U software. So there's very few exceptions. I'm not sure what those are right now, but pretty much a shutdown all across the board. And for the foreseeable future, it is still possible to download update data and re-download purchased software and downloadable content from the eShop. So you can't purchase new stuff, but for now, they say update data and is available and re-download purchases that you've already made. Again, for now, we don't know. Eventually, that's probably going to go away, but for now, you can still do it. And there's also a frequently asked question about Street Pass and Spot Pass. So Street Pass uses local communication, but Spot Pass does use online communication. So Spot Pass is gone, but Street Pass is still a thing. So, for example, you can still use the Street Pass Me Plaza and meet people and everything, but you won't be able to use features that use any online communication, such as receiving new panels in the puzzle swap. So, online communication down for the 3DS and the Wii U. General thoughts. What are you guys thinking about this? It's the end of an era. Barry, any thoughts?
I hate it. I mean, I haven't booted up my Wii U or 3DS in a while, but I hate it. Like, you know, I loved the 3DS. Street Pass, I'm glad is around. The Spot Pass thing that they mentioned with the puzzle panels, I believe it's just like when there was a new panel, they would send everybody one panel piece. But you can still get new panels from people that you Street Pass with. But it's like, I don't know, it just feels dirty almost. It's like all those functionalities, all those Mario Maker levels, or you can't download now. Like Jesse was talking about Professor Layton. Those all had like 365 bonus puzzles that you could download. Now you can't. That's lost content at this point. I absolutely hate that. Lost content is bad. It just sucks because there's no amount of money that will allow you to play it. And I understand they weren't making money at this point. And this is one of those cases where I saw there was an emulator, Pretendo, I think it is, that is focused on getting the servers back up, or at least a way for people to still use these features. And I'm anti-pirate, but I'm fine with things like this because the servers are down and restore functionality at this point. If Nintendo's going to take it down, these people. When you bought a game and it had these features, those were features you also bought, and it sucks. And I just hope going forward, Nintendo takes the Switch architecture, improves upon it, and adds to it, and never has to take it down again. And the same with PlayStation and Xbox, the server that's on the PS4 and the Xbox One, as well as the Series X and the PS5. Keep that going forward. and that way we never have to worry.
Yeah, just keep building on it for sure. That'd be nice. Greg, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I haven't really been playing either of those systems in quite some time, and it still really stinks from like the preservation perspective. I mean, there's lots of great content and DLC and games that are not on any sort of platform, like even like Dylan's Rolling Western and other like Nintendo published exclusive games are there's no way to play them unless you previously bought them. So that part really obviously really sucks in every regard of it because it's essentially you need to know somebody with the system and has it downloaded that's doesn't wipe the system clean before letting you have it. So
Mm-hmm.
that part is pretty bad in general, but I mean, you also can't really expect it to be like forever. I mean, these aren't like NES games that have zero online components, so it's a lot of the things are still playable. Like they didn't have that issue back then. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like the main thing is just like Mario Maker just being completely gone forever because you can't like all you can really do is make levels, but then you can't do anything outside of Street Pass to share them. So like on the
Yeah.
3DS version, but that's even a downgraded experience from the Wii version.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird to think about that because, like, yes, like we've talked about before, we didn't have the option for digital games like back in the day. So, NES, SNES, 64, all that, like we GameCube, and then there's systems as well. Like we only had physical media, and so like living in the day and age that we do now where we have digital media that could disappear. We've talked about how that's sad, but also so many games having these online components make the games fun. It makes, if us three can play a game together, which is awesome because none of us live in the same state or let alone the same town. It's awesome that we can play games with our community and have this experiences and all this stuff, but also we're relying a lot on people like these companies keeping their servers going. And we're at the mercy of whatever they do. I know that's kind of sad. Like other people that build, their businesses, for instance. I know a lot of people were upset at different times when YouTube has done different things with their system, but they're creators and they built their entire business on YouTube. And if YouTube decides to change things, that's YouTube's prerogative. And so kind of the same, like if Nintendo decides, hey, we're not going to support these servers anymore. Okay, we don't have necessarily a business built on it, but that's kind of a game and thing that I enjoy playing, and you just took away a big chunk of what I paid for originally. It's a weird place to be, I guess. It's a weird juxtaposition of like, yes, I bought this and expected to be able to play it for forever, maybe. But at the same time, those servers cost money, and I get why they would shut them down. So I don't know. I guess I'm just trying to see both sides, and it's just a weird place I guess we're in nowadays. But it's what it is. Greg, you alluded to Mario Maker, and one thing that did happen from this is the game has officially been beaten. So a team from Team 0% finally beat Super Mario Maker. I guess there was one last level that was thought to be unbeatable, and they finally actually made it happen. Greg, any more on this that I'm overlooking?
Yeah, it was like one of these like really extreme like Kaizo levels. I think was the very final level. So it was just like people that really needed like the upper level of skill just to be able to try to tackle this level. So I know there were some people that actually um, were really good at the game and that somewhat like they even said like retired from it, but then they actually wanted to join in to make sure to try to get all these last levels cleared. So that was just great effort just to make sure that every single level that's ever been uploaded to the Wii U server has been officially been completed by at least one other player. So they did track all the first clears on every single level that was ever created and was up there. So it's just great to see that like they were able to get that accomplished. And I think they've already have people going at it for Mario Maker 2 on Switch. So then there's not as big of a backlog there. So, um, yeah, if you're a really awesome Mario player, then I'm sure that they would really appreciate help trying to trim some of these levels down. So then there's not that kind of situation with the Switch and Mario Maker 2.
Nice. Yeah, if you're watching the video version, we get the final the stage being played on the screen. Barry, have you attempted this level at all before?
No, absolutely not. But I'm glad it was officially beaten. That the Mario Maker community is fantastic, and I'm so glad they were able to knock it out of the park, really. But it's sad because like if someone's watching this right now and goes, "Oh, I want to try that. That looks like fun," they're SOL. That sucks. They're SOL. It might be possible to recreate it in Mario Maker 2, but it won't be the same. It'll be a recreation of the original,
Yeah.
and that stings. I mean, with everything, even when a game gets ported, you know, it's the original version is not playable, and sometimes with those original systems, there were gimmicks that were lost that you can't use anymore, especially with titles from like the Wii U or the DS or the 3DS. They had the 3D, they had the touchscreen, they had the gamepad, with the Wii with the motion controls. It's technically could be an HD port or a HD remake or better in some ways, but it's different. Like Luigi's Mansion 2 is coming out later this year, or Dark Moon, if you will. That I'm sure it's gonna be great, but you know what it's gonna be missing? It's gonna be missing 3D. It's gonna be missing whatever was in the bottom screen conveniently there, and it can't be that way on the Switch. So while yes, Luigi's Mansion 2 is now playable, will be playable on a modern system, it's a different version.
Hmm.
It's not the same version that was originally released.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing is that, we are getting different versions. Like NSO, like Mario All Stars went on. It's like, why do you need Mario All Stars other than Lost Levels? Because you already have Mario 1, 2, and 3 on the NSO. Well, because the Lost Levels versions are different. They remade them. But what is missing is when they re-released Mario All Stars with Mario World, they actually made changes to Mario World. They changed Luigi's sprite and everything. That version is not playable on NSO, only the original. So that version is still lost to the SNES. Even when the Wii got Mario All Stars, they didn't bring that version over for some stupid reason. It's just a ROM. I mean, come on, it already exists. So it's just really weird that, even with all these ports and remakes and remasters, we're still losing the original versions of these games.
Yeah.
And as these servers shut down, they're gone forever.
Yeah. I know one of those games that I believe I've getting this correctly, but Jules Washam, who's the owner of Atui Games, he came up with Mutant Muds and Soccer Slammers, Zeo Drifter, and several other games. He tweeted that. Or posted on X that that 3DS owners and fans of his game Chicken Wiggle, all the levels uploaded to Chicken Wiggle on the 3DS will be available to browse, play, and download in Hatch Tales when it releases on the Switch on June 21st. So there's over 2,000 of them that he is bringing over to this new game, which is supposedly able to play that. And I guess it's going to be more. I haven't looked into that game a whole lot, but it seems like some developers are trying to bring them over. It's not going to be the same exact thing, but trying to recapture that as much as they can. But like you said, it's not what the original was. It may be better. Who knows? But not always.
Not always, and sometimes there's a charm. I mean, if you ask a Resident Evil fan, most will say the Resident Evil remake from the GameCube was better than the original. Better graphics, new additions, and even that game. Which version is it? Do you play the GameCube version? Do you play the PS4 version? Do you play the Wii version? Like they're all very different. But there are some people that love the original Resident Evil, and there's a charm to that. Those older graphics. Or do you play the director's cut, which was also on the PS1? Like there's so many different versions, and I feel like if they ever did like a collection, like a true proper collection, I feel you would need, in this case, Resident Evil, Resident Evil director's cut, the GameCube version, the Wii version, which uses motion controls because that plays differently. Like you would need all these different versions, and the Disney collection with Jungle Book and Aladdin and Lion King. I love that they did that. That they said we're putting in all these other versions because sometimes they're completely different games. Between the Genesis and the Super Nintendo and stuff, and the
Yeah.
Game Boy and Game Gear, and that's great. That's how it should be because these are all different games, and they're all playable and preserved. Obviously with some modern stuff. You're not squinting at a Game Boy or a Game Gear screen or anything like that to play, but it's great. That's how it should be. That's how all collections should be. But that takes time and money to port. And yeah, is it worth it? And right now, sadly, the answer is no because game sales are down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So it's interesting. Yeah, I'm glad. For me, I'm glad that at least you can re-download games that you've already purchased. So
For
because
now.
I was concerned about that because I haven't booted up my 3DS or my Wii U in a while, and I need to get back on there and make sure that I have everything downloaded that I want. Because when that goes down, that's really going to be unfortunate because there's some games that, like you said, like you could only play on that. So, Greg, anything stand out that you're like really bummed about? I know Mario Maker is probably one of them. Anything else that you're really bummed we won't have anymore?
Yeah, I think that was the primary one, but for a while I know I was collecting all the virtual console games, so even just that those are kind of like no longer accessible, and then you actually have to continue the NSO subscription or go to like a retro store and find like either like someone's old copy of it or reprint or whatever. So I know there are people that like pseudo make like actual like physical copies of it, but it's actually just like a ROM on like a card or whatever. But
The repro.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like a reproduction print. But yeah, I mean, I'm always really sad to see like all the virtual console stuff go because it's a lot of this like that is like all the retro content and like not all of that is on NSO yet. So
Yeah. Yeah. Barry, anything stand out to you?
It's DLC. DLC is one of the big things. Like, I'm thinking latent. I remember doing the first latent and doing like the different puzzles every day. And,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're ever going to bring those in a collection, but I would severely hope they would include those puzzles because they exist. I mean, it's not like all they have to do is like bring them over. But that obviously takes effort and time. And will they want to do that? I mean, it adds value. It should be a selling point and should be highlighted. But it's also one of those things where it's like, well, it's not part of the base game. Games like Super Mario Brothers, or New Super Mario Brothers 2 had DLC levels, and a lot of those were really fun. That's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, guess what? If you didn't get that, that's Nintendo first party content. That's Mario content that you no longer can play official. And it's like, that sucks. Mario Golf, I think, had some DLC as well on the 3DS. Gone. Uh,
even
it's
something
that.
very modern like the Breath of the Wild DLC is gone on the
Well,
Wii
the
U.
Wii U version, yeah, the Wii U version of that is gone.
Wow. Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, let us know what you guys are going to be missing on the 3DS and Wii U now that the online functionality has been discontinued. Let us know in the live chat or in the comments on the YouTube video afterwards. Yeah, we'll kind of be mourning here together as we miss this. But yeah, here's hoping that things have changed moving forward with the Switch and whatever comes next after that, and we don't have to deal with this anymore. If they can just keep building on that, and we can not have to deal with all these old servers and all that stuff, eShops and stuff like that shutting down anymore. Just keep building on it. I do know that kind of it potentially limits creativity a little bit because 3DS games, they couldn't just port them over to Switch because it's a different system altogether. Wii U is different than Switch, and so moving forward, if they're just going to keep building on the Switch infrastructure, like you kind of got to stick to that kind of style of a game. You couldn't all of a sudden start doing dual screen things on there because it's not going to work on the Switch if the new one does it. And so I think there's some there's some things there they're gonna have to overlook and figure out and all that stuff. But yeah, it's also 2024. I figure we can figure this out.
I can see the one thing, like if Nintendo were to suddenly be like, we're going to make a box like the Xbox or PlayStation, more like a traditional console, the only thing that would be lost would be potentially Joy-Con games. And just be like any game that use the Joy-Cons if Joy-Cons are no longer supported. And that's if they're no longer supported. They could still be supported, or they could make brand new Joy-Cons. Hey, you want to play those, you got to buy the Switch 2 or Switch 3 or whatever Joy-Cons because the originals don't work anymore.
Hmm.
They can emulate it in that sense, but that's if they want to. And will they do it for a handful of games? Probably not. And if they make all these peripherals and don't give enough incentive for people to buy them, it's a waste of money. They're going to lose money on it. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And that's the sad thing. I mean, one of the games that we put out for Series 8 with Premium, Tadpole Treble Encore, which is available right now for physical pre-order, that was a Wii U game. That was a Kickstarter, was a Wii U game. The original version of that game is no longer playable. Thankfully, they brought it to Switch. They added some extra stuff, but it's not the same original game in the sense of there's no gamepad. So all the gamepad functionality is no longer there. And it's sad. At least the game exists and can be played and enjoyed. But if it never got the jump to Switch, it'd be gone.
Yeah. Yep. It's true. Going to the chat, looks like Jesse says he's just glad that we had Arthur to lead us through the server shutdown. So much content there. And still some is that QR stuff will work, like official stretch mo and push mo levels, which is good. And then Jakester says he's gonna miss out on all the DLC content for Smash 4.
Yeah, that's gone too.
Yeah.
If you did not get those characters, you can no longer play them in the Smash 4 versions, only in Ultimate.
Yeah. Which, yeah, sometimes that's important. Like to me, I've never touched that version of Smash after Ultimate came out, but yeah, that's
like if you want to do like
still
Smash
unfortunate,
Run or the Smash Board or whatever the board game was from the Wii U, you could play it with those DLC characters. Now you can't unless you had them.
Yep.
Same with the stages.
Yeah, and you could also say the same for Mario Kart 8. So like the original Wii U version of Mario Kart 8 had where you could actually play as Link and play on that. I mean, obviously it's all there on Switch as the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's essentially the same type scenario. It's technically a different game, and they made optimizations and other things to tweak the controls and everything too. So
and the double item box.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's
an actual battle mode. That old battle mode of racing on the racetracks is gone forever.
Yeah, they said the Mewtwo, Lucas, Cloud, Corrin, Bayonetta, Ryu, plus the Mii costumes. Yep.
Yeah,
crazy. Well, let's move on from some sad news onto some happy news. We got two showcases that we're going to highlight in this episode. One is from Impact Game Station. Barry, I think you know Barry.
Yes.
And so tell us a little bit about Barry and the Impact Game Station before we jump into what they talked about on the showcase.
Yeah, it's always fun when we wind up talking because it's like, hey, we each have the same name. Barry's a good guy. He puts together a showcase, and what they do is they get trailers just from different studios that want to participate and showcase their games, and they do this periodically. And it's great to just have an outlet. It's just another outlet that said, hey, why don't we do our own thing? Because there's so many games out there that don't have any type of exposure. So I think that's really cool. He's a really cool guy, very, very friendly, very approachable. So it's awesome to have a new showcase to talk about. And I think that they did this before, but I know he's been working hard on this one. In fact, we were talking when we were doing the premium direct, and he's like, "Oh, I'm editing this," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, well we're editing that and stuff." It was kind of cool, and he was there to support us for the premium direct. So I was like, "Oh, I'll check out the Impact Games Direct," and I was like, oh, "Let's talk about it because there's some good stuff shown off."
Yeah. Yeah. So just to be clear, and I, for whatever reason, I had overlooked this. So Impact is really just his thing, and he wants to highlight things. There's not actually like he's not a publisher or anything like that.
No,
He's just highlighting these games.
correct.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Because I was looking all over and I was like, why haven't I heard of this publisher before? And I was doing deep searching and not finding anything
It's just
at
like
all.
if we did a NintendoFuse Direct and we
Yeah.
just highlighted different things. That's what
Cool.
it is. Big,
Cool.
you know, it's nice to see people willing to do that, and it's like, hey, there's so much. Like, how can I help? Let me
Yeah.
try and do something and put this together to help you guys.
Yep, for sure.
We should definitely do a NintendoFuse one because we actually have somebody on the team that writes directs already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There
mean,
you
we
go.
could.
Hey, let us know if you want us to do something like that. Let us know.
Yeah,
I may have to find
just
a
casually throw more work and
yeah, I may need to outsource the editing, but yeah, that could be fun. Who knows? We'll see. So let us know if that's something you would enjoy. We could start reaching out to people. I don't know. Barry knows lots of people. Well, yes. So this Impact Direct for April 2024. I'm just going to run through several of the games at once. I want to talk about all of them at once, but I'll hit several of them and we can kind of discuss them a little bit. There's lots of Wii U remakes, which we have alluded to, which is helpful for those to come over to Switch. We started off with a game called Carry Onward, which is available now. It's a top-down narrative-driven game about a guy who has to move on after something traumatic happens in his life. We also saw the Super Kiwi 64 free update DLC called Doomsday that Barry was talking about earlier. There's new levels, voice acting, time trials, and a new soundtrack that's also available with new mini games included. And we saw Project Longtail, just an update about this game. It's not ready to come out yet. This is a sand surfing adventure platformer as well. So those three games, Carry Onward, Super Kiwi 64, and saw an update on Project Longtail. Barry, what'd you think about these three?
I mean, Super Kiwi 64 is actually a really phenomenal game, and it's short. It's not terribly expensive, and like I said, I actually ran through the Doomsday DLC. It took me about 30 minutes or so, but I had fun, and that's the important thing. It's like it's one of those where I don't have 50 hours to devote right now. I just want something of my childhood, and you get to do that, and I think it's great. And if you grew up with the 64 or was important to you, I think you should absolutely play this game. Won't take you long, but it'll just be like a nice jaunt down memory lane. The Carry Onward looks interesting. It kind of reminds me of what was that? It was like 7 minutes or 9 minutes or something, where like time looped, like that perspective of looking down. So I was like, oh, that's kind of a neat narrative type game, and I don't know how it plays, but I like that he even had some codes up there. It's like I'm just giving stuff away. Like if you happen to be watching and putting the code, then great. The other one, the sand surfing looked like it could be a lot of fun too. Again, it's still in development, so I'm gonna wait and see what it appears when it's finished.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Greg, how about you?
Yeah, the Super Kiwi 64 was not a game that I really knew about, but it's probably gonna be something I'll be looking into adding. And yeah, it's still really cool to see a lot of like great different games for different perspectives, and obviously with like more Wii U games being revived, that's always a positive too, as we were just saying. So yeah, definitely a good section of games, but probably mostly just Super Kiwi 64s on my immediate radar over the other ones.
Nice.
Yeah, I think Super Kiwi 64 is like $1.99 or $2.99 or something. Like
really?
It's so cheap and it's so worth it.
Interesting. Yeah, I think Carry Onward seems interesting, but the game that grabbed my attention is Project Longtail. I mean, I'm always up for a good 3D platformer like that, and it seemed really interesting. So, seems like it's also going to be quite a distance away from when it's actually released, but cool to see more about that over time. Then next, we saw an update from Spacefarer. Their R&D reveal for Indie Box, and they showed off several different games, including the Dawning Clocks of Time remake, which is coming to Switch, Xbox, and Steam. The original game came out in 2021, so this is a remake. And then Jetpack George, which has been completely remastered on the Switch. Spiritus 1 and 2 coming to Switch in late April or May. Booty Diver Rediscovered is going to come to Switch, Xbox, Steam later this year. And Looney Lawns Recut also coming to Switch, Xbox, and Steam later this year. Greg, any of those stand out to you?
I don't believe this section was like the most interesting towards me from what I recall, but yeah, again, it's always great to see lots of choices in different games that are offered that I'm sure there'll be other people out there that will be looking to enjoy those types of games as well too.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything remember really sticking out too much from this particular segment.
Nice. The one that definitely stood out to me was Looney Lawns, and I'm curious if Barry's going to go crazy on that one too. Is this another lawn mowing game?
I immediately thought of Lawn Mowing Simulator when I saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, it's
Just another
haunting
plug.
me.
If you haven't saw our game chat about Lawn Mowing Simulator, definitely go check it out. But yeah, anything else stand out, Barry?
Dawn of Clogs at Time looks really interesting. Like it looks like it could be a lot of fun when when it's finished. And I'm not a Resident Evil kind of guy, as I ironically just mentioned earlier. But the Spiritus 1 and 2 kind of gave me like the PS1 style Resident Evil vibes. So they could be fun, for that target audience.
Cool. Yeah, I'm with you, Greg. This is the time in the show where honestly, I was kind of getting like, okay, let's maybe move this along a little bit. Nothing really stood out to me.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like as an overall point, it was just like felt like some of this wasn't properly spaced and stuff.
Mm.
It seemed like some stuff kind of went on a little bit too long and stuff, and where I think Nintendo has that good balance of how like the length of time that stuff is on there outside of like the 10-second clips that they do in the main segment or whatever. But
yeah, I'm with you. But definitely now knowing that this is something new and it's just maybe it's the second time that he's done this, I can definitely there's room for improvement, but it's still cool that he's doing it for sure.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. I'm not trying to say I could do a better job or something like that.
Right. So. Yeah, no, it's really helpful for me because I went into it thinking it was a publisher. I was like, okay, let's keep this. And now knowing the background, I'm like, okay, I'm more forgiving now because this is something he's just doing just cause he wants to, and that's pretty cool.
Especially because a lot of these games you probably never heard of before, and it's like, oh, now you even know they exist, and that's kind of cool.
Yep, for sure. Well, moving on, another section of games, we got Taro the Sneaky Ninja, which is coming soon to Switch and Steam. This is a cutesy 2D ninja platformer. We also am getting Death Motel, which is going to be coming to Switch. This is a first-person horror game based in a hotel. And also Murder at the Birch Tree Theater. This is a mystery game based in a musical theater, coming to PC and Mac first, and then consoles later this year. We're not really sure which consoles, but consoles later this year. And then I mushed all these words together. Epic Dumpster Bear 1.5 DX Dumpster Fire Rebirth. One of those gigantic names. It's coming out on April 18th, so just a few days away on Switch, PS4, and Steam. And lots of accolades shown off about this game. So yeah, Sneaky Ninja, Death Motel, Murder at the Birch Tree Theater, and Epic Dumpster Bear, the rest of that name. Greg, any of these stand out to you?
The Sneaky Ninja one kind of looks pretty comparable to like other games. Like I know there's like some kind of fast moving action platformers, so that one was kind of interesting. The murder mystery one also like had a different interesting topic, but it also looks more like a point and click like adventure or like a point and click puzzle solving like thing with like the solving it. And I don't know if I'll look into getting something like that, but it definitely seems kind of interesting nonetheless. But at least those were the main like two that had stuck out this time around for this section.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Taro the Sneaky Ninja. Definitely looks fun. Barry, any of these stand out?
Yeah, the Terror the Sneaky Ninja is definitely the highlight here. It just looks like like I love the art style.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks like it could be, as long as it controls well. It's always the weird thing with 2D platformers. It's very. I feel like it's very easy to make it appear to be like this is gonna be like Mario, but then if it doesn't control well, like that defeats the whole purpose. So obviously I haven't played this, but I'm hoping it does well. Because it does. This was the highlight of this section for me for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely with
It's
you.
definitely. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna jump in really quick with the controls. It does look like it has that Breath of the Wild style like freeze time kind of mechanic when you're as a ninja. So that could be kind of interesting that way too. But sorry to cut you off there, Steve.
Oh, you're good. You're good for sure. All right. So then we got moving on, and we got Discovery NG, which is coming soon to Switch, PS5, and PSVR 2. I got to see some early alpha gameplay running on Switch, which looks incredibly similar to Minecraft. That's all I'm going to say about that one for now. I'll let you guys talk about that. And then Collateral Thinking Inc. DX showed off an 8-bit side-scrolling platformer, somewhat similar. Reminds me to like Donkey Kong or Wrecking Crew. That's coming soon to Switch, Xbox, and Steam. And then we got Oxide Room 208 coming to Switch, PS5, and Steam. This is a follow-up to Oxide Room 104. Incredibly gory survival horror game with some great rock music. If it was actually that, if that's the actual music in the game, I probably not a game that I would play, but that music was rocking. It was awesome, at least in the trailer that they showed off. Also, Corn Kids 64 is exclusively coming to Switch, and it's a 3D adventure similar to Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie. And then Three Souls Parallel Edition. This is a 16 or 32-bit-ish 2D game with you play as 3 different souls, and not exactly sure how it all works, but sadness, happiness, and emptiness. And it's coming to Switch, Xbox, and Steam. And finally, we saw the Ironfall Invasion, which is coming to Switch, and basically just got to see the menu system shown off, but no real gameplay. So the last several games: Discovery NG, Collateral Thinking Inc. DX, Oxide Room 208, Corn Kids 64, Three Souls Parallel Edition, and Ironfall. What stood out, Barry?
Collateral looked really cool. And the Three Souls, I love the premise of that. And Corn Kids 64, I've been playing, and I can tell you it's a lot of fun. And again, it's made by the same maker of Super Kiwi 64, but it's a bigger game. It's like a 5-hour adventure, and it really brings me back to Banjo-Kazooie, Mario 64. So if you love those type of games, then again, I highly recommend it.
Nice. Greg, anything stand out to you?
Yeah, the Corn 64 one did look pretty interesting, along with the one that's on screen now, like the little simple like 2D kind of almost reminds me of like that 1001 Spikes that was on whatever DS or 3DS, but obviously just a much simpler version of it. Just the graphical style being like very like NES like focused. It seems like it could be an interesting platformer that's kind of like the Mario vs. DK game that was just remade, but
yeah,
those games can be fun too in small bursts and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not really into horror games, so obviously it's great for people that are, but yeah, those were the main two at least that stuck out to me.
I'm going to move on from that trailer just so that we don't get flagged or anything, because it's incredibly gory. We didn't mark this as a mature stream. But yeah, I'm glad that Barry, that you said that this game, like the Corn Kids, like feels like Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, because as soon as I saw it, was like, yep, that's what it looks like for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of, it feels more, I guess, more like Banjo than Mario, like more like the rare 3D platforms, as in rareware, versus like Nintendo's offerings. But if you enjoyed those type of games, and I think it's like $8,
Really?
for a 5-hour adventure game. Like it's a steal, honestly, if you love 3D platformers and miss those from that era.
Nice.
Yeah, I was thinking more DK 64 than Mario 64, but yeah.
Yeah, rareware for sure. Yeah, it's that the colors, the saturation, all that stuff feels very much like those rareware games. Yeah. So that's cool. Is there any do you know anything, are there connections there, or is it just totally just inspired by them? Like there's
Oh,
not
look,
like a previous Rare employee that's
no,
working on
no,
it, is
no.
there?
It's somebody that absolutely loved. I think it's one guy that made these games too. I think it's one
Okay.
developer.
Nice.
He just absolutely loves the N64 era, and obviously as we got into GameCube and onwards, that disappeared. The collectathon kind of disappeared. Like that was a big thing with Odyssey when it came out. I was like, oh my god, we're kind of going back to that style. And he was like, you know what? I want to do this. I want to. I could do this kind of thing.
Mhm.
So he did, and he's made a bunch of different games, and they're all phenomenal, really. And this is just another one. It's just a really cool adventure. And again, if you miss that type of game, you can play it now on your Switch.
Nice.
I absolutely love that he kept the 64 moniker at the end of it too, so it
Yeah.
sounds like it's a legit 64 game, and to boot, it even looks they both of them even look like 64 games too.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever played like the Tori games, he's the guy who did Tori. Those are really short. Those like $1. They're like really short 3D platformers, but fun. Like they're short and you can get through them in 30 minutes or so, but it's a solid 30 minutes and it's a lot of fun as opposed to like a terrible game for $1. Like they should be priced higher. Like if it's just the content. Yeah, he does a lot of great stuff. He's very talented. He's got his own following um,
Hmm.
because he's the only one delivering these type of games. So if you're like, oh, I love this type of games, you can get them now, and he's just does a lot of good work.
Hmm. That's cool. That's cool. Well, yeah, if you have not done so yet, please go over and follow Barry Dune Dunn. Do you know how to
I think it's
pronounce his
done.
last name? Dunn.
I think it's
Uh,
done.
yeah, go ahead and follow him over on Twitter X, Impact Game Stat, and get ready for anything else he posts over there as well. And I guess let him know we sent you. But say, hey, Barry sent me to talk to you, Barry, and. Thank him for the Impact Direct. We also had another showcase from Eastasiasoft. They brought yet another showcase, and this time, of course, for spring 2024, showed off 18 games this time. So it was kind of fast, kept it moving, and showed off a lot of different games. So they ended with some games that, I'm going to avoid, but they did hit several up front that I was excited to see, including Soldner. I can't
No.
pronounce it, and that's the rest of this title is going to be butchered. Soldner X Himmelsturmer, I think is what it is, and then Soldner X2 Definitive Edition. These are side-scrolling shooters, and they're going to bring all the prior content and updates over to Switch and other consoles as well. Digital on their own, and there's also going to be a physical 2-pack with both of the games in there. We're also getting Super Wooden GP2. This is an isometric racer with over 180 vehicles. You can play solo and also on split screen multiplayer. It's going to be available in summer 2024. And then we also got Mining Mechs. This is a 2D side-scrolling action game. It's going to be available summer 2024. And Flight Path Adventures in Vonaris. That's going to be available in April 2024. So this month, this is a top-down vertical shmup with multiple paths and the narrative and procedurally generated levels. So of these four, anything stand out there to you, Greg?
It was pretty much just like the mining mech one to me, because it kind of has like that SteamWorld Dig vibe and stuff, and I don't really mind like the games just kind of just digging down, finding treasures, and going back up and getting more money. So that was at least the main one that stuck out, to me at least, for the
Yeah,
first four.
nice. Barry, how about you?
I thought all four of them were great. Soldner, I mean, I had it physical. Vita, I think it was the East Asia Soft or Play exclusives first ever game that they did that started the whole Play exclusive physical thing. And then Soldner 2. I love that they're coming together, and I already got my physical pre-ordered. Flight Path also looks good, another shmup. I was like, oh, this is cool with narrative. I wonder how this works. And Mining Mechs, like you said, Greg, kind of reminds you of a SteamWorld Dig, and Super Wooden too. I used to play Ivan Iron Man Stewart's Super Off Road on the NES so much, and this reminded me very much of that. And
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, if this has that same feel, like that'll bring me right back to my childhood.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely looked good for sure. And so you've played the Soldner games?
I
Like,
haven't actually never played them. I own
okay.
the physicals, but I never played them. But I've heard good things about them.
Okay, good. Because I kind of got burned on Eastasiasoft shmups for a bit. Like there several that I played that were not great. So, but these looked good. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, we'll see. But yeah, moving on, we got Pretty Girls Escape Plus. This is a block puzzler with
Steve's Game of
what
the
you
Year.
can think. Pretty Girls, apparently. And this is coming out this month in April 2024. And then My Incubi Harem. Also not my game of 2024. It's a narrative adventure on a quest to be the Incubate King. This is just coming soon. And then Super XYX. This is a top-down vertical shooter, yet another one, to take out a world destroyer. And there's going to be 6 stages in this game. It's coming out sometime in 2024. And then Soko Frog. This is a top-down sliding puzzle adventure with a frog as your main character, and this is 150 stages, also coming out sometime this month in April 2024. So, Barry, what stands out to you among these 4?
Well, clearly, I mean, those first 2, they're definitely like as I was watching this, I was like, oh, we're off to a really good start. And then the 5th and the 6th game, I'm like, oh, I can see Steve rolling his eyes right now. Like it's almost like a mini game. Like when watching these, like where is Steve gonna jump the shark? But then Super XYX looks fantastic. Again, and I played a lot of Eastasiasoft shmups, and we haven't, like Crisis Wing, like we wanted to like them and we just didn't. So hopefully these ones are good, and I guess we'll see. What was the last one you said? The 4th.
Soko Frog.
Oh, Soko Frog. So
the 4th.
Growing up, my dad and I used to love playing a game called Sokoban. And this is the same thing, but you play as a frog. So it just, again, right back to the childhood. Like, oh man, it's simple games, sliding puzzles kind of deal, but it just looks like a lot of fun because I loved it as a kid.
Nice. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, pretty much the main one for me that stuck out was that Snoko Frog one. I think there was some other different showcase not too long ago that had another like sliding game that I was interested in, so that just kind of like brought back the vibes there, and it almost does have like that Lolo type vibe from the NES, because like a lot of that was just like making sure the position of the blocks was in like the perfect spots and stuff. So I don't know about those style of games. It's just I like those kind of puzzles, and it's simple yet but can be very difficult and rewarding once you do figure those types of things out. So that was at least the main one that stuck out to me. Obviously, like Barry was saying, like Steve's a hard pass on the first 2, and it's not something I look for in my own games myself, but I know there are people out there that are probably excited to download those right away too.
Guess so. Yeah, I'm sure like maybe the My Incubi Harem, maybe that's at least is a different game, but I just like they just throw yet another the exact same puzzle game again with just different sprites of girls. Like that's all it is. It's exact same game, just recycled over and over and over again with just different girl sprites. That's all it is. Like, oh, great, another puzzle stacking color matching game. Woo. Like whatever. Moving on, we got The Prisoner of the Night. That's a 2.5D side scroller where this girl sleeps without a blanket and gets taken by the cold wind of the night, and she needs to search for her way home. This is coming out sometime in 2024. We're also getting Space Mercenary Defense Force. This is a tactical sci-fi adventure shooter, kind of like an enhanced version of Asteroids or Geometry Wars. Is kind of what I kind of got when I was watching it, but it also has some RPG elements as well. That's coming out later this year. We're getting Ratarinth, I think is how you pronounce that. I'm not sure. It's a side-scrolling precision platformer in a two-color 8-bit style. It's coming out this month in April 2024. And then Cyber Mission, which is a side-scrolling shmup that looks a lot like classic Contra, because you're not in a ship, you're actually in a guy that like in a jetpack or something like that. But looks a lot like the Contra style. Is coming out sometime in 2024. So, Greg, what stands out to you among these four?
Definitely the Ratarinth one. I do enjoy some of those precision platformers and have gotten a few of those over the across the various Nintendo consoles. So that one was definitely up there, at least for me. A lot of the like the shmup stuff I'm not really super into, and so I did notice like that was like almost a trend of this particular showcase. There's definitely a lot more of those shmup type games. Just they all kind of look the same, and almost like a lot of it almost seems like also kind of partially like bullet hell type scenarios too. So it's like it's not really quite my cup of tea, but obviously like the action platformers and even like precision platformers are definitely games that I really enjoy the most, and that's where like the Ratarinth price stands out the most.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. Barry, how about you?
Yeah, Radiant looks great. Space Marine Defense Force also looks like it could be a lot of fun, and the Contra game, like, as long as it's done well and has a good frame rate, I'm all for it. And just as long as it plays well. So I guess we'll have to see, but it looks like it definitely has promise.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the concept and the art style and stuff like that of the Prisoner of the Night looks interesting. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll get it, but I'm intrigued and I would like to know more. And that might be one of those games that like, maybe I will watch someone else play it. I don't know if I'll enjoy it myself, but maybe I'll watch a Twitch stream or something like that to see
I like
to
the
see more about.
concept, like the whole
Mm-hmm.
story of like sleeping without a blanket gets taken away. Like that's really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm with you, Greg. Like, there's there were several shmups in this one, and some of them look better than others, and some of them start to look like, oh, this is recycled again, which is a lot of Eastasiasoft shmups. But yeah, Cyber Mission looking very similar to that Contra style. I was like, okay, this might be one that's good. We'll see. But yeah, I don't know. Moving on, we get to see Doug's Nightmare, which this is you get to pound Doug's wacky and scary nightmares in what seems to be like a twin stick shooter. So yet another shooter. It's coming out sometime in 2024. There's a game called Go Go Jump. With 3 exclamation marks there. This is you're going to take on Jump Masters. This is an action game where you basically time your jumps to avoid obstacles. So you're essentially just moving left and right and jumping. That is all you do in this game. It's coming out later this year. Electronics Puzzle Lab. This is an educational 3D puzzle game where you're going to solve logic puzzles themed around electronic circuit boards. So even if you don't know anything about electronics and circuit boards and all that sort of thing, apparently you can still play this game. But if you do know it, kind of added bonus. That is going to be coming out sometime in 2024. And then we got A Night on the Farm. This is an atmospheric 3D horror and mystery adventure game where you can play, where you can alter the story based on your decisions. And that's just coming sometime soon. So, Barry, any of these 4 stand out?
Doug's Nightmare reminds me kind of when My Name is Pedro had the banana thing, and then
Yeah.
Doug is a banana. I'm like, is there something I'm missing? I mean, but I like it. I like that. Even like Go Go Jump, like it looks simplistic, but the situations are really crazy, and it looks like the developer just had a lot of fun, just making it and putting in wild scenarios. So it could be a lot of fun. Just it depends on, again, how it plays, how crazy it gets. But it's something different. The whole electronics puzzle lab thing. Totally not what I was expecting to see at all from this, but I think that's awesome. It gets kids into STEM, gets people into STEM. It's this has, depending on how realistic it is, has some real world implications that could benefit. So I like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah. Greg, how about you?
Yeah, the Nightmare game actually did look like it could be kind of fun, and also the jump, like the go jump, also did seem kind of fun. It almost sounded like it took like that Mario Party jump rope challenge game and put it on like steroids. So it's almost like you can move, and then there's lots of different obstacles and different puzzles with that, or not puzzles, but like different things to jump over, and constantly changing it up to make it a full fleshed game. So that does look like it could be pretty intriguing, and it also almost seems like they could set it up to be possibly like a rhythmic jumper as well too, because just the way that it just depends on how it's designed as well. I didn't really see if that was the case with this, but they could certainly have a level or two where it is more rhythmic in case too. So
Yeah.
but yeah, the other two not so much. I'm not really into the murder um, mystery type the game, and the other one. So it was at least those first two like definitely felt a little bit stronger towards my liking and potential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think Doug's Nightmare looks silly, and if it is twin stick shooter, I've said before, I love those games, so it could be fun. Wrapping up, we got True Colors: A Date with Deception. This is a visual novel where you date and interact with your coworkers. It's coming out sometime in 2024. And then Eero Chess or Arrow Chess. This is basically chess but sexual, and it's coming out sometime later this year. that's exactly what it is. So, Greg, either of these games for you?
Nope. Don't
All
need
right.
I
should
want
be
to
a
see Aero Chess get a physical and the back of the box say, "This is just chess, but sexual." Quote Steve, Nintendo Fuse.
I mean, come on, we're seeing the trailer. You've heard what they said about it in the game, in the direct. It's
Oh,
basically
you're
exactly what it
100%
is.
right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think that's a fantastic quote.
to help sell
In
the
fact, yeah,
game.
we're just gonna go ahead and move on from that, also, so we don't get pulled off YouTube. But
I think the dating game could potentially be good. It's a visual novel style. It really depends. It depends how it is. I mean, I have played some dating sims before, and it was just like it was just kind of like answer the question the way that the person you're talking to wants to hear, not necessarily how you think. It's like more playing the game of what do they want to hear, what's the correct answer. I like the visual novel stuff where you can be more organic and you can see and just like real life. uh and like there's some where it's like this is the match point, and if you don't name it, they say the correct thing, it's like that's it, we're broken up. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not how relationships work. They're more complicated. It's not black and white. Relationships are
mhm.
very gray. I don't like it when it dumbs it down to good answer, bad answer, and neutral answer, because that's not how it works. So I don't know how that one works. So I guess we'll have to see. But yeah, I think Steve needs. I think we need to petition. Steve has to review Pretty Girls Escape Plus, My Incubate Harem, and Aero Chess. I think we need to
I
do it.
give them all a
And
0 out of 10. Done.
I needs to stream his gameplay so we know how he played them.
No, we need to keep this family friendly.
and and he needs to do that 100% completion too.
Nope.
Oh, there we go.
Nope. Give me Xenoblade instead.
There you go, Barry. That's how you get him to play Xenoblade.
There you go.
I I don't understand how any of that would work together. I'll just play Xenoblade on my own at some other time and avoid these games. Oh man,
The developer worked very hard on him, Steve.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did. I'm
Look,
sure they
Jakester
did.
says he would like to see you stream again, so I think you should. And Zev said, off topic, but Wanted Dead is on sale and a lot of fun. So
Oh, cool. Yeah, there are actually a lot of games that are on sale right now. So if you do want some digital games, head over to the eShop because there are a ton of them that are on sale, and some of those sales are going away really quick. So yeah, we won't list them all because there's really a lot of them. But I was checking them out the other day. Got those. So yeah, maybe I will stream again once maybe life kind of like slows down a little bit, maybe at some point. Not in the near future.
So you
But
heard it here. When Steve starts again, Aero Chess is going to be his first game.
that is not what I said. I said I may stream a few games here and there, but it's not going to be Aero Chess.
Eastasiasoft, send Steve a code.
Yeah, I'll give it away.
He wants the Pretty Girls one too.
I'm going to pass it over to Jakester and say, Jakester, I need you to cover this game for NintendoFuse. No questions asked. Just do it. He said, I'll be there. So there you go. That's what I think he was referring to something else, but I'm going to take it for that instead.
No, he said I would, Steve. So he would.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. Well, we have the ability to get the codes for that. So honestly, we may be contacting you, Jakester. We'll just have to mark that one M for mature. So anyway, that brings us to the end of our main discussion for this episode. Before we move into our next section of the upcoming games, just another quick reminder to go ahead and subscribe to us over on any of your favorite podcast apps or on YouTube, and we'd love to have you subscribe over at any of those platforms, in addition to our social media at NintendoFuse. And of course, jump over on our Discord as well and join our growing community over there. The link is on the screen in the video version, but also in the YouTube description and the podcast show notes. Yeah, we do have lots of different game chats that are going to be coming out really soon. We've been kind of backlogged a little bit over several games that we've been playing, that we've been talking about on a couple of recent episodes and saying, hey, game chats are coming. We're going to be talking about these games soon. So those are going to start to roll out over the next few weeks. We're going to be recording some of those this week and next week and getting all those out. So make sure you're subscribed to YouTube to see all those and hear what we think about these games that we've been playing. But let's jump into what games are going to be playing coming up over the next couple weeks. Again, thanks to Metacritic for putting these lists together that will be scrolling on the screen. If you're watching the video version, you can see those. Of course, Soko Frog is up there for April 10th. Also on April 11th, we're getting a game called Moonglow Bay. On April 16th, a game called Grounded, that we've heard about before from Microsoft. April 19th, Figment 1 and 2 are coming out to a European physical. You can already play these games on the digital eShop, but if you wanted to get them physical, a 2-pack is coming out, at least in Europe, on April 19th. And also April 23rd, we're getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade, Wrath of the Mutants. So, Barry, any of these games or others that you're looking forward to playing over the next couple weeks?
Some of them are cool. Interested to see how the Turtles one is. I know it's physical, so I have it pre-ordered. But right now, my main focus is to finish Rise of the Ronin, and going forward, it's going to be probably the Final Fantasy 16 DLC. I think is coming out before the next direct or the next podcast. So I think that's the next thing I'm going to do. Though at least part 2 of the DLC is coming out. So other than that, I think I'm trying to remember what is coming out later. The Corn Kids, there you go, April 19th. Get that game. But yeah, I'm trying to remember what. Oh, Uden Chronicles 100 Heroes. I was a Kickstarter on that, so that's coming. So that is one that I might wind up playing. So I guess we'll see based on how long Rise of the Ronin takes and Final Fantasy 16 DLC and whatever other curveball comes or what are they suddenly here's some game chats to do. Oh, that derails it. Let's go.
It's been happening a lot lately.
I don't mind it though. I like it. It's fun.
It's good. It's good. Greg, how about you?
I did see one that was called Legacy of the Wizard. I know there was an NES game called that, and it almost, based on the description, it almost kind of sounded almost like it might be a potential like remake of it. So I
Hmm.
don't really know if that's the case or just a weird, interesting coincidence around that. But um, I just remember that game was very difficult on NES, and I never ended up beating it without the Game Genie cheats. But that was still one there. I noticed you conveniently left out that your Pretty Girls Escape is launching on April 18th. That you'll be downloading right away and reviewing and streaming and all that. So
yeah. Jakester's doing that for us. Yeah. I'm just looking into the Legacy of the Wizard, and at least it doesn't say anything about.
yeah, it didn't. But like some of it kind of sounds like it's
Does it sound a lot
similar.
like it?
Yeah, because it said like, oh, collecting the crowns, and like they each had like a Legacy of the Wizard was almost like a Octopath Traveler type adventure where each character has like their own unique moves and stuff, but it's like a platformer, so like some jump higher and some had like certain attacks and stuff, and they all had like a crown to find in like this massive labyrinth before taking on like a dragon boss. So like it kind of sounded somewhat similar with it like saying finding crowns and other things, and also having multiple characters on the little art thing that they showed. So that's
It
why I
also
was
says that it has a password feature so that you can end the game progress and resume it later. That doesn't sound like Switch. That sounds like NES. So maybe it is just directly ported over.
Could be.
Yeah, because I don't really think we need password systems anymore.
Yeah, so I don't know too much about that, if that's any way related to the NES game, but that certainly brought, like, just seeing the title just like brought all the memories back. But could be
That's
one
cool.
I potentially check out, but I'll more than likely just be getting up to speed on all the Game Chat games, and hopefully moving further in Paper Mario 64 and stuff like that. It's on my backlog.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually, honestly, I don't know what I'm going to be playing over the next couple weeks. I am traveling quite a bit over the next month, and so there's going to be some of these games that don't require online that I'll probably be playing in the plane and as I'm going here and there. I've got several games that I picked up recently that are indie eShop only games that I do need to play and either gets out some reviews or impressions and stuff to you guys. And some other games that I want to make a little more progress in. I'm hoping to eventually set aside some time and finish the final chapter of Life is Strange 2, but it seems like every time I want to do that, I'm like at like a really, like I finally had enough time and it's like late at night. I'm like, I can't focus right now. I need something I can do mindless. So like that's not a game that I can do. And like the other day when I played Final Fantasy 14 was the first time, and I was thinking, oh, I'll do this mindlessly. No, like I need some, like, at least for now when I'm starting everything, I need to be able to focus and pay attention. Maybe eventually. Yeah. But in the beginning, that was not the case. So, but there's, I'll be playing games, but I just don't have any idea what it's going to be. But probably the Ninja Turtles game is the only of the upcoming new games that I'm interested in. And I haven't seen a whole lot about it, but is that the game? Is that the one that was like in the arcade, but then like pulled or wasn't around very
I think
much?
this
Or
is a brand
something?
new game. I know there's one that was in the arcades that is coming.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Over. But this
Yeah,
is, I think, a brand new game.
Because that one's based on, I think, the Nickelodeon series or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see it. It's coming out of my wife's birthday, so maybe she'll get me a gift instead. Actually, I'm gonna be gone that day, so I'm gonna be gone on her birthday, which is sad. But maybe I'll still play it and get it for myself.
Happy birthday, honey. Thanks for getting me a gift.
Yeah, I'm headed to Atlanta and playing Ninja Turtles on the way.
Barry, you got to petition her to get the Pretty Girls Escape, right?
I can totally see her. Maybe as a gag, a joke thing we could do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to send her a message and say, hey, look, we can get you a review code. Don't worry about that. Steve says he really wants to play this, but he's just a little
do
bashful.
not say that at all. Yeah.
Create more problems than it's worth.
I know. And she doesn't watch the podcast, but she may start watching after that. What are you guys talking about on there?
It's just fun to keep bringing that, hitting that home.
Oh, it's funny because of the reaction.
Yeah, because seriously, Greg is sitting over there also not liking these games, but I'm getting it all. What is this?
Well, you know what? You're right, Steve. I think you and Greg need to do a game chat together on it.
Not gonna happen. It's gonna be a 5-second one. Both of us are gonna be like, nope.
No, you got to do like the critic. It stinks.
Yeah. Oh, the critic, man, that's a deep cut. I forgot about it.
It is a deep cut.
Wow, like all these
core memory unlocked.
Came back in it. Yeah. Whew, man. I had totally forgotten about the critic.
It's a great show.
But think of it this way, Steve. If you had the review code, you'd be able to include it on the worst game of the year.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Although that's the problem. Like, I'm sure it runs fine. And I'm sure the puzzle elements are great because they're just recycled over and over and over again. It's all it is. Oh, look, another Match 3 game. Oh, look, another Candy Crush Saga ripoff. Oh, look, whatever. Oh, look, chess, but sexual.
Hey, you know what? If it does well, we'll probably get Arrow Checkers next.
It's going to be Arrow everything.
Arrow Shoots and Ladders.
Candyland. Uno.
Arrow Trouble. Arrow Parcheesi.
Yeah, it'll probably happen for sure.
Arrow Scrabble.
Oh man. So anyway, our next episode is going to be here in 2 weeks on April 23rd. We're shooting for that, and heads up that things will be different, as I've already alluded to, that I'll be traveling on that week. And so either you're going to, these guys are going to be on their own and doing the podcast without me, or we'll pre-record it, one or the other. So, we'll either have a live show on April 23rd and the one after that as well. I think that's May 6th or something like that, if I get the days correctly, whatever that Tuesday. May 7th. Oh, so close. So both of those dates I'll be traveling for. So either they will be two guy podcast without me, or we'll pre-record one or both of those. Just a heads up. But we're still going to make sure we try to keep that schedule for you guys as well. What is Jakester saying in the chat? Oh boy.
Arrow Checkers, where you get sexual when you get kinged.
Oh my.
What have you started, Steve?
My. I didn't start it. I didn't do it.
It's all your fault.
We know how much you love these games. That's why this started. So.
Yeah.
See, when you come very vocal on a particular style game, that's what gets the attention.
That's exactly.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He said you gave me a great game in Firefighter Simulator. I did. At least that wasn't that kind of firefighter. But anyway,
are
sorry.
You sure?
Jakester just didn't make it to those levels yet.
Did do some magic Mike on the pole in the firehouse.
All right. I apologize to any kids that are listening today.
Oh, you gotta have some fun, right?
Oh man. So yeah, I'm gonna be traveling a lot over the next couple weeks. Greg, anything interesting happening in your life over the next couple weeks?
I'll probably just be getting more stuff around the house done. My fiance Kelly just moved in this last weekend, so I'll be just continuing to get everything in the house more in order. So if you need any furniture and you live in the Chicagoland area, you can find some of my postings on Facebook Marketplace as I'm trying to help downsize and make extra space for everything that we need, so that we don't have to continue like storing and holding on to stuff that we no longer need.
Yeah, it's always nice when you have like two of everything. You're like, I don't need two blenders and two toasters and two everything else.
Yep. Two houses merging into one kind of creates all that fun stuff. So
Yep. All
made
right.
several trips over to Goodwill, and there'll be more coming, I'm sure, as try to get rid of other stuff on Facebook Marketplace, as I said. So
Nice. Barry, you're gonna try to avoid earthquakes as best as you can and prepare for your next 3-hour direct that you're writing.
I will admit I am in 3 hours. No, not 3 hours. I am in the preliminary stages of planning the next direct though. So there is work actually being done on that. But before then, of course, we've got Series 8 up. So Gordian Quest, which we'll be talking about here in a future game chat, is available for physical pre-order right now. Tadpole Treble Encore, talked about a little earlier in the episode, is available also for pre-order. And Scarlet Tower goes up in 2 weeks, but you can get all 3 of those games right now in the mega packs that we have. You can get the standards, the retros, or everything. Just nice and convenient one hit. Last time we talked, Godchard Chronicles was still up. The Kickstarter has ended. It did exceptionally well. It almost did 6 times its goal. And as of today, the backer kit is open. So if you missed Godchard Chronicles and you want to support the game and get the Kickstarter exclusive physicals, you still can. The backer kit is available and open, so please go support the developer. And Atomic Owl is another Kickstarter we're a part of that is available right now. It is funded. It is completely funded. So we're working on stretch goals. So that one you can go right to Kickstarter and give support and help hit stretch goals. If you're gonna back the game, it's really cool because not only are you getting it, but you're actively making the game better as new stretch goals are hit, and you get to be part of the community as well. So definitely give those games a check out. And there might be another Kickstarter next time we're talking about as well that that premium edition will be a part of. So we seem to be daisy chaining these. We're just meeting a lot of very passionate developers that want to get their game into existence, and we're honored to be able to work with them and help them make their dreams come true. So we're just we'll see what happens.
Cool.
I heard there's Eastasiasoft might have a game for you.
We've worked with Eastasiasoft. Wife Quest we've done, and you know what? If I'll tell you this, Greg,
you're gonna make that physical happen.
If Steve will buy at least 1,000 Aero chests, I will make that happen. I will contact my contact at Eastasiasoft tonight and be like, Steve wants to buy 1,000 of these, so we're gonna print 5,000 of them.
Only if my quote is on the back of the game.
Yes, and your quote is on the back of the game. Absolutely,
you design the box.
Yes, absolutely. It's like chess but sexual. Quote from Steve. Absolutely, I will make sure that is in the back of the game. That is a thing. In fact, with you buying 1,000 copies, we're going to give you a special Steve variant.
Oh,
you will have a special Steve variant. You will have control of these copies.
They have clothes on.
We're the only ones. They have clothes on Steve's variant. There we go. We'll make it happen. You know what? There'll only be 1,000 of those, so it'll be one of those rare, Switch games, and you'll have control of them.
We can make it happen.
So that could be the thing, though. So like everything you get correct, they add a piece of clothing on.
Oh, and they start nude. There we go. Well, no, but it's chess though. It's not.
Jakester says Steve's skins. Skins is a bad choice for this game. It's already got skins.
See, Zeb says he'll buy one. There we go.
Good. The one with my variant? Yes, you should.
You get the Steve variant.
All right, we got one. Tell your boss we got one.
But no, we'll sell. You buy them from us. Then you sell them however you want. You do a lot of church functions, right? And
Yeah.
events. You can sell your Steve variant Aero chest at those to all the kids.
I think I'll be looking for a job pretty soon after that.
Oh, come on! You got a captive audience.
Yeah.
Chess is a very, it's an old one of the oldest games ever. It's a very, very strategic game. It's a very good game. And you're dealing with teenagers, right? They're going to get curious. So why not? Teach them at the same time as you fulfill their curiosity.
I think that's the opposite of what I'm trying to teach them.
You'll never look at yourself in the mirror again after a shower the same way. Play Steve's Aero chess.
Oh boy, I do not endorse any of this. It's been a great episode. Sometimes it's been a great episode. And
this is the best episode ever. So
yeah, I know. Jake loves it.
something like that. Yeah. But like I said, the NintendoFuse podcast will be back on April 23rd. Maybe with me, maybe without. We'll see what's going to happen.
Depends on if he's playing Aero chess.
Yeah. No.
Barry will just be locking Steve in the basement until he completes the game. So
it's gonna happen. But anyway, I'm gonna end this before we go down to any other wherever this is going. But thanks guys for joining in for this episode. It's been the end of episode 289. 290 is next. And like I said, that's gonna be coming out on April 23rd, and we'll see you then. Happy gaming, everybody.
Have a good one.
See you next time.